An example of an emerging infectious disease is MERS, which was first reported in 2012, and it stands for the Middle East Respiratory Syndrome. It's caused by the Middle East Respiratory Syndrome coronavirus. It is passed from animals to people, so it's zoonotic, and the main culprit appears to be dromedary camels. So it is definitely not something to mess around with. There is no vaccine, but they are working on it. 3 reasons we're identifying new diseases now. I would say number 1, and this is mentioned by the textbook, is that we are seeing changes, some evolution in these microorganisms. The textbook gives the example of Vibrio cholerae, which causes cholera. And it infects people with enterotoxin. It causes dehydration, diarrhea, and even death. And another example is E. coli, which can affect people with Shiga toxin, something that's acquired from the Shigella bacteria. There are various strains of this, and so seeing things like E. coli change. Another example would be Clostridium difficile, which there's a strain mentioned in the textbook that is more toxic, more resistant to, that can withstand antibiotics, and it's can kill 29,000 people a year. This is definitely something that we're going to pay attention to and identify, so that we can't help identifying. And so I would say evolutionary changes, adaptations are one reason. Another one is transportation. And I'll say more than ever now, you can have a particular disease that travels all over the world. Back a long time ago, you could have a disease that could perhaps just stay in a particular spot, or would only go so far. But nowadays, you can have a disease that travels all around the world very quickly. The coronavirus is a great example of something that has traveled around the world fairly quickly. Another example, another reason why we are identifying diseases now is ecological changes. The textbook mentions this. It gives an example of deforestation, and so there are perhaps situations where because of deforestation we're encountering different bacteria that we may have been shielded from before, that we may not have encountered as much. Because of deforestation, we're seeing it more often. Gives an example of Venezuelan hemorrhagic fever, or virus, which is affects people. Rats infect people with it, and it can be very deadly. Another point within this is the evolution of the ecology of the virus. And the textbook gives an example of ticks that now have the Powassan virus and are infecting people. Beforehand, it was infecting ticks that didn't bite people. Now it's infecting ticks that do bite people. Ticks that had Lyme disease. And so there's another reason. So 3 reasons there why we are identifying new diseases now.